Hey, hi guys, welcome to DevOps Yogi. So, as we discussed in our last video, we have seen how we can execute a Terraform script on an example of EC2 on the AWS cloud. So, with this Terraform, we are all going to be I'm going to be demonstrate on the AWS cloud only. So, what are the things we are going to cover in this course in next videos with the Terraform? Okay, we're going to be I'm going to give an approach how the real world the world how it is using a Terraform, and as well every steps it will be going to available in our video courses only, an incremental way to build a complex infra. So the real world architecture, a 3-tier or 2-tier architecture, how a company or a project is using by using a Terraform, how it is structured, how the infrastructure is created. So these things we are going to be discussed in our course. So with complete commands, language, settings, provider, resource, variables, and meta arguments. So these are the key components in the Terraform. So without this, Terraform can be not completed. So you should must know about this. Then only you can write the script, you can execute, you can able to build the infrastructure. Okay. So what we are going to be do? So I'm going to be execute one 3-tier architecture. Once we completed the basics on the Terraform, the scripting, variables and all, so other uh, task also means I can say stuff is there. So once we discussed about like the language settings and providers, resources, variables, data sources, and meta arguments, loops, count, okay, map. So there are many things are there. So once we completed, so I'm going to tell you how we can create architecture and how we can set up infrastructure on the cloud. Okay, by using a 3-tier architecture, we also can be uh, so going to cover an EC2 instances with a specific security group, how we can tag them on a specific EC2 instances for a special requirement, and load balancer, application load balancer, okay, classic load balancer, application load balancer, and path based routing, and ALB host header based routing, and custom HTTP headers and the query string redirect, AWS DNS implementation also, auto scaling also, launch templates also, and network load balancers also, and CloudWatch alarms also, and modules, the Terraform modules, how we can register them, okay, and Terraform local module, and Terraform remote state storage, and as well Terraform remote state data sources. So these all are the real world scenario resources where every project is used. Okay, these we are all going to cover once we done with the Terraform basics. So the basics are above: resources, variables, data sources, meta arguments. Once we completed with this all modules, and we go with this creating of this task. These all tasks are must, and these all tasks are must in every project. Every organization will use this. You must know about this task. Okay, so as we discussed in our last class, so there is a Terraform workflow, right? So init, validate, plan, apply, destroy. So this is the workflow. The workflow will be, this is a must and should a workflow which you need to follow when you going to apply any changes in the Terraform. See what we are going to be discuss in the top level, I can say high level discussion. Terraform language uses a limited number of top level blocks types, which are block that can be appear outside if any other block in a TF configuration state file. Okay, what are the blocks? So in last video we have seen a resource and AWS instance, it's a block. Okay, so there are many blocks like this: Terraform block, provider block, resource block. So we have discussed about in our last video about the resource block, and also there are provider block in our last video is versions. Okay, so there we have provided a Terraform version there. So there is a provider and Terraform block. So there is also a Terraform block is there inside the version Terraform, and then after feature provider. So like this, an input variable block, output value block, and local value block, data source block, and model block. So these all blocks are mandatory. with these blocks only you can complete the complete infrastructure by using a Terraform script. And we are going to discuss on these blocks only, okay, in our future classes. So how this the blocks will be used in a real world scenario. The section 1 we are going to be discuss about all these meta argument counts and variables for loops, okay, loop with map, loop with advanced map, and splat operator, okay, how we can use a splat operator. Section 2 meta arguments for each, to set, to map, data sources, okay, and section 3 data sources, okay, and data source and availability zones, for loop with the map, and for loop with the if conditions, and function keys. So section 4 also section 2 with the section 3 and final output. So these are the sections we are going to discuss in our future classes in this course. So it's completely a real world, okay, so which a project or a company is using infrastructure. This is the sections where the Terraform is used. Okay, so we are going to be discuss about the t-tier architecture once we're done. So like this I'm going to execute. So this is the roadmap of a three-tier architecture. So the files are we are going to be create and use the left side. You can see I build a manual using AWS mgmt console, okay, build the same using Terraform modules, Terraform local values, Terraform variables, Terraform.tf was we can say, Terraform variables, vpc.auto.tf and Terraform versions constraints, and Terraform code organization production grade style. So like this we are going to be create the same infrastructure, and we can also create the same in console also. But so no one has now using the console to create a architecture, so they are going to be use Terraform only. They are using the Terraform only, not going to. So we need to everyone is building the infrastructure on the Terraform only. So we have to know about how to create if the infrastructure was there, and how the Terraform files will be structured, okay. So like this, and see the Terraform files will be structured like this. On the left side you can see the image. Every project in their repository, the files are like this only, okay. So you need to understand. So once you are entered into the your project, so you'll be into the confusion. So what are these files, and what is these files are, what contain inside in it, so you don't know, right? So you can just have an idea here. So that is the advantage of our course, okay. So that is the beauty of our course, I can say. So we are going to cover complete real world only. You can say here left side, so versions, generic variables, local values, VPC variables, module, output, security, for every infrastructure perspective, everything we have covered, okay, here. So like this we are going to be create the files, and we are going to execute, and we will see the output in our course. So right side you can see, so what is the use of these files also, okay. See, create an AWS VPC using a Terraform module, and security groups using Terraform modules, and AWS AMI data sources, and create EC2 instances using Terraform module, and null resources variables, file provider, remote access provider, and local access provider, okay. So and also we are going to check, means we're also going to deploy like this AWS VPC EC2 security groups with ELB, elastic load balancer, classic load balancer, and as well as application load balancer, okay. Okay, so yep, I hope you all are got the point, and just be prepared and give your best for your jobs and interviews, and learn, happy learning, and just keep it up. All the best.